Hey everyone, today is Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. It's about 2:23 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are standing right in the middle of Grand Central Terminal. And on today's walking tour, we're going to be doing a behind-the-scenes look at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as we walk all the way from 42nd Street down to 34th Street Herald Square. Tomorrow we're going to be going to the Upper West Side of Manhattan and filming the inflation of the balloons right on Central Park West. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We'll be walking directly past the Grand Central Terminal Holiday Market, and it's looking pretty festive. This is the East Balcony. This is where you have the Apple Store. And there definitely seems to be a ton of people. I always like to point out, if you're in Grand Central Terminal and you're looking westbound, if you look all the way at the top, there's this little teeny black spot right here, and that is the one section that they didn't clean on the roof of Grand Central Terminal. It's pretty cool, and it's very easy to overlook. There's the famous clock. Now from Grand Central Terminal, you can now not only get the Metro North, but you could also get the Long Island Railroad. That was a new addition via the East Side Access Project. However, it is really far underground. If you want to get to the Long Island Railroad Terminal, you have to go many, many stories underground. But it is convenient, as many Long Islanders work on the east side of Manhattan, particularly in finance and the like. So it makes it more convenient. You don't have to go to Penn Station and then take the train, the subway, to Times Square, and then from Times Square to the east side. And they do make it nice in here. Just the overall ambiance of being able to dine at Grand Central Terminal is quite nice. Mainly just because the architecture of the building is stunning. Now on the other side, you have the Grand Central Holiday Fair. This is made up of a bunch of local shops and boutiques. It's almost like a mini, I would say, Union Square holiday market almost. We'll now exit on the 42nd Street side. You're going to be looking right at Pershing Square. looking westbound up to 1 Vanderbilt, as well as Salesforce Tower and Bryant Park. So the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is going to come down Central Park West, and then it's going to make a left onto Central Park South at Columbus Circle, in which case it will go all the way to 6th Avenue, or Avenue of the Americas, and then go down to 34th Street, where it'll make a left at Herald Square in front of the main Macy's, the flagship. And that's where all the main stage is going to be set up.
You're very directionally challenged.
Right as you exit Grand Central Terminal, you have this really nice view looking up at not only the MetLife building, but the brand new 270 Park Avenue, which now serves as the headquarters of JP Morgan Chase. You have one of the main entrances to the terminal here, Vanderbilt Avenue, looking at Pershing Square Plaza. But if you look up, you could see the Chrysler building, and make sure you enjoy these views while you can, because that black building that sits right in front of the Chrysler building is set to be demolished, and in its place is going to be a massive Class A office building that will unfortunately block the views of the Chrysler building as you stand outside of the terminal. We're now headed westbound towards Madison Avenue. Once we're on the corner of Madison, we're going to continue down to 5th Avenue, which will bring us to the corner of 5th and 42nd, where you'll have the Stephen Schwarzman Building or the New York Public Library. Another thing I'm excited about is the redevelopment of 5th Avenue. They're going to totally redo the sidewalks on 5th, particularly from 42nd Street to 59th Street. They're going to be double-wide sidewalks, and they're going to plant a significant amount of trees. They're also going to be reducing the traffic flow on 5th Avenue.
They're back in style.
Which I think is a really good idea, because if you've ever walked up 5th Avenue, particularly during the holidays, from 42nd Street to 59th, particularly by Rockefeller Center and Saks Fifth Avenue, it gets so crowded that it makes it pretty dangerous for the pedestrians because they have to walk in the street. So I think that by reducing the number of traffic lanes for vehicles, widening those sidewalks, and planting some trees. That's going to make a world of difference. Additionally, I feel it's going to increase the property values for residential real estate that's all along Fifth Avenue. You have a lot of new development going up here for residential, which historically hasn't been the case. When you think about Fifth Avenue in Midtown, you think about commercial office space. You don't think about residential, but now a lot of developers are actually sticking their necks out, such as this project here, 525th, and building ultra-luxury residential product. So once you have increased infrastructure for pedestrians, I think that's going to positively reflect on the valuations of residential real estate in the neighborhood. In any event, let's go ahead and cross westbound on 5th, because I want to show all of you the patience and fortitude, because they finally have the Christmas wreaths on the two lions. This is now walking southbound on 5th. And there you have it. That is patience and fortitude. Finally having the Christmas wreaths around their necks. You know, perhaps we'll take a quick detour and I'll show you all the lobby of the New York Public Library, because it is really quite special, particularly during the holidays. A lot of people don't know this, but temporarily, I believe, right around the time of the pandemic, they removed the lions' patience and fortitude in order to restore them. Adjacent to us, which a lot of tourists don't really know about, on the corner of 40th Street and 5th, I'll zoom in, it's this building with that greenish top. That's also the New York Public Library, and it's really, really nice up there. And you could go all the way up and read a book or hang out on the roof and have these really great views overlooking Fifth Avenue. Okay, now I'll take you all inside, and you're going to see just how gorgeous this library is. It's really a national treasure. They usually check your bags, so I'll have my bag open and ready. Thank you. All right, everyone, we are inside. I want you all to pay attention to the detail, all the stonework, the architecture. They really don't make things like this anymore. This building is definitely a treasure to New York City, to put it lightly. We're now standing in Astor Hall. And let's go ahead and go up to the mezzanine level. Now look at the detailing on the ceiling as we go up. And tell me that's not one of the most beautiful things you've seen. So the Bill Blass room in the back is only open to people who are studying. So there's no tourists in there. Only if you're studying, you can go inside. and now we'll head down and out. And now we'll head out. I believe we have to go through the bag check one more time. But if you're visiting New York, you should really take some time to go through the entire library because the stuff that they have on display is really unbelievable. Particularly through here, the New York Public Library Treasures Room.
Yeah, they're in there.
This is a must see. It's a beautiful Christmas tree. Let's quickly wait for the bag check again. Thank you.
It's the Capitol Blues.
Okay, what did you guys think? That was the inside of the Stephen Schwartzman building. We'll now merge right onto 5th Avenue, and then we'll make an additional right, and we'll head over to 6th Avenue because that is where the parade will be coming down. This is one of my favorite areas of the city. There's also a lot of free activities to do in and around Bryant Park. In the summer, I usually go to the outdoor juggling events, which is a fun and unique thing to do. This is now 5th Avenue and 40th Street. And we're going to make this right and continue all the way westbound past the Winter Village at Bryant Park until we reach 6th Avenue, and then we'll make an additional left and head down to 34th Street Herald Square. Just off to our left, I'll quickly show this. This is the Park Terrace Hotel. This is a nice hotel looking right over Bryant Park. And then next to it you also have the Radiator Building. And it looks like it's just starting to rain here.
You're an imposter.
For those of you that didn't know, the ice skating rink at the Winter Village at Bryant Park is free, assuming you bring your own ice skates. So if you're local to New York, I would never rent the ice skates because it'll cost you around $70. However, if you just go on Amazon and you buy a very cheap pair for like $45, then you could quite literally ice skate every day, every single year in perpetuity for nothing. Which is what I did. I've actually been ice skating a lot. It's a much different experience when you're actually on the ice as opposed to just looking at it. Here you can get the B, D, F, M, and 7 trains. And the 7 train will now bring you to the Hudson Yards. Which is very convenient because let's say if you're walking around Midtown Manhattan, Times Square area on a dreary day like this and it starts to rain, it's not a big deal because you can just grab the 7 train and get off at Hudson Yards and you could spend the day exploring the shops at Hudson Yards and you could stay inside, dine at all the restaurants. So it's a really, really great layout. This is now the Bank of China. And you'll see a lot of the barricades that are up here. These are the barricades that are going to be used for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The best location for viewing the parade is quite literally where we're standing now. I would also say on the corner of 53rd Street and 6th Avenue. The worst place to view is 34th Street, Herald Square, because that entire section is going to be closed off and sectioned off for Macy's employees and other media staff only. So there is no public viewing. This is the Marriott Hotel. This is the Residence Inn, which is a very heavily trafficked hotel, but I think it's a little dated in here. There's so many better options to stay at in New York than this one, to be honest. It's very, very old, it's dated, and you can get a much nicer and much newer hotel in a better location. All right, this is now 38th Street. We're getting ever closer to Herald Square. You can see everybody pulling out their umbrellas. It's about to downpour. It's a really nice Tesla. Now, in my opinion, kind of reverting back to what we talked about as it relates to Fifth Avenue, how the city is about to do a major overhaul of Fifth. They're going to widen the sidewalks and take away some of the lanes for vehicles. I believe they should do that on 6th Avenue because at the end of the day, you're not going to need as many lanes of traffic in 10 years because everything is going to be an autonomous robo-taxis. There's going to be virtually no traffic. What causes all the traffic in the city is human error, right? That's what causes traffic in general. It's just human error in terms of their operational efficiency of operating that vehicle. So when you have Tesla's robo-taxi, when you have Google Waymo, you're really only going to need maybe 2 lanes at most on many of these roads. This is 989 6th Avenue. This is going to be luxury condominiums. Which, by the way, not necessarily the place that you would think would be luxury condos, but as I've said, I think you're going to start to see just in general zoning change. And most of the places that you would think would be commercial real estate, you're going to start to see a lot of residential mixed in there. Now we're at 36th Street. see more of the police barricades. Another interesting fast casual sort of coffee shop that is going to be coming to New York City is going to be right on 32nd Street, Korea Way, and it's called Mixue, M-I-X-U-E. And many Americans, or just really Westerners in general, don't know about the brand, but I discovered the brand when I started to initiate coverage a long time ago on a company called Luckin Coffee. That used to be publicly traded in the United States under the ticker symbol LK. Now, they were delisted from the NASDAQ because they were caught cooking their books to the tune of about $350 million. But it is a real company, and Luckin Coffee is a very, very successful company. I don't know why they decided to do that. And it's a Chinese brand. In any event, Mixue has more restaurant locations than McDonald's, but very, very few Westerners know about it. And it's starting to come to the United States. They're gonna have their first location right over here on 32nd Street, and they sell, you know, like little coffee drinks, they sell ice creams, they sell bobas. However, the price is so cheap, it's like $1. And I have a prediction. If they really come here and the prices match what the prices are in China, I think it's going to be an issue for some of these other fast casual brands. I mean, Luckin Coffee is already coming into New York and expanding in a massive, blistering pace. And their marketing tactics are so innovative because they gamify everything. You'll never pay full price for a cup of coffee at Luckin Coffee ever, because assuming that you just go once a week, every single time you purchase something, they send you a 40% off or 50% off coupon. So if the drink is $4, you know, you're only really going to pay $2, and that is really going to undercut a lot of the American competitors. We'll keep an eye on that. So again, not to ramble on about it, but Mixue is the Chinese company, M-I-X-U-E. They have more locations than McDonald's. I think it's going to be a big blowout. Anyway, we are now at 34th Street, Herald Square. And yesterday I was watching all of the rehearsals here because this is where the main stage is going to be on Thanksgiving Day. You could already see Tom the Turkey right above Macy's there. You see the main green mat with that red Macy's star, which is quite iconic. And all last night they were doing the rehearsals. And I believe they're going to continue to do the rehearsals tonight and tomorrow night. There you can see the main turkey, and then this area is blocked off for a lot of the audio visual equipment. And here is the main stage, and they've really just done a good job. They've done a really, really good job this year. Once we get this red light, we will cross the street and we'll explore a little bit more of the main stage. And here is the main stage. And you can see that red Macy's star. In my view, I think the city should close this down about 4 days leading up to the parade, just because there's so many tourists here looking at it. But this is where really, you know, when you're watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade at home, this is where all the main media stations are going to be located. When you're watching the performances, you're going to be watching them where I'm standing right now. And in the background, you have all the different windows. Still see the work crews working diligently to get everything ready for the parade. And there it is, that's the main Macy's star. One of my favorite things about Macy's in general is just the energy for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I'll quickly zoom in because you can see this is actually just tape. So they tape this down with hundreds of individualized rolled up pieces of tape, and they put it together like a puzzle, which is quite interesting. This is my favorite shot to take every year. Let's head back and check out some more of the audio-visual equipment.
And wine.
And this is now Broadway. on this side is where the original windows.
Oh shit.
All of this is going to be closed down for the parade. But if you guys enjoyed that video, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and as always, we will see you in the next one, and thank you so much for watching. Happy Thanksgiving.